program expression combination of variables, operator, literals, and mathematical statement. A complete execution unit of a program contain one or more expression block, a group of zero or more statement between an opening brace and the closing brace. Execution flow control skip executable repeatedly execute a block of the statement. Fundamentals of Java programming, computer and computer we are going to discuss the feature of Java platform independence, object-oriented programming. Write once, run anywhere. The Java compiler compile the source code into the bytecode, which can be interpreted by the suitable Java virtual machine on any platform. The JVM can prevent the code from generating the side effect outside the system. Object-oriented encapsulation, combining an object data with method, code reusability, code maintenance, implementing the OOP, polymorphism, allow an object of the superclass to refer an object of the any superclass. Fundamentals of Java programming, computer and computer programming, writing and assessing the classes and the class member, assessing the class and the class member variables method and the nested classes, assess modifier, control the access of the class member, public, protected, default, private. Fundamentals of the Java programming, computer and memory used by the Java program stack, local variable, local reference method, invocation, instance variable, instance reference variable, object. Fundamentals of when will the error occur, completion fail, and exception thrown in the runtime. Chap- Chapter 2, develop the code that declare and initialize and uses the primitive array enums and object as static instance and local variable. Write a code that is correctly applied to the appropriate operator, including the assignment operator, arithmetic operator, relational operator, and the instance of the operator, logical operator, and the conditional operator. Write the code that determines the equality of the object of the two primitive data types and operator or data related concept. Understanding the variables, data types, and operator, naming the variables, legal identifier, reserved name, the keyword. Understanding the variables and the data types and the operator are two kind of data type is primitive and the non-primitive corresponding kind. Variables, primitive variables, and the reference variable, object reference, object reference value, primitive variable name, naming the variables, and the legal identifier. Each variables has the name and identify rules. To name a variable, first character must be a letter, a dollar sign, or a underscore. A character other than the first character in an identifier may be the letter, dollar sign, an underscore, or a digit. None of the Java language a keyword or the reserved word can be used as the identifier. Abstract asset, boolean break, byte, case, catch, char, class, const, continue, default, do, double, else, enum, extend, false, final, finally, float, for, go to, if, implement, import, instance of int, interface, long, native, new, null, package, private, protected, public, return, short, static, script, active, super switch, synchronize this, through, transient, true, try, void, volatile, while data types and operator working with the primitive data types. Boolean 1 byte 8 short 16 char 16 in 32 float 32 double 64 long 64 or declaring syntax for declaring the variable, assessing the variable, literals, default initial value, syntax for declaring the variable, the general syntax for declaring and initializing the variable, modifier, data types, variable name, initial value, private, int id 10, int id. Assessing the variables, once you declare a variable, you can assess by referring to it by one. Its name variable can be classified onto the three category: local variable, instance variable, static variable. A literal is a value assigned to a variable in the source code. Int id 10, the boolean literals true or the false. Char literals float point into the 2.12.33 1.258. Default initial value boolean short char int float double long. Example, public class initial test int x, public static void main string args new initial test, public void print int y int z y is equal to true. system.out print in x plus y, system.out print in z. Data types and operation data related to concept working with the primitive data types, declaring and initializing, working with the non-primitive. All the non-primitive data types in the Java are the object. You can create an object instance, the class, object array, the data type in a object in object reference or reference variable is declared student1. You can create an object with one operator student1, new student, the declaration of the object reference variable, object orientation, initialization, and the reference variable student1, new student array object are used into the store the multiple variables in the same data types, making an array, declare an array variable, create an array of a certain size and assign it to the array variable, assign the value of it, each element, declaring an array variable, declare an array variable specifying the data types. Example, int score student, creating an array, with a new operator. An array of the primitive is created and designed to an already declared array variable score. Score I, an array is a non-primitive data type is created and assigned to an already declared array variable. Student new student 3, assigning the value to the array element. Each element of an array need to be assigned the value of the primitive type. Score 75, score 180, score 200. New student, the data type enum uses any types to need and fix the set of constants such as the day of the week. Define an enum variable into the two-step. Define the enum type with the set of the named value. Define the variables to hold one of these values. Enum allotted credit card, Visa, Mastercard, American Express, allotted credit card, Visa, allotted credit card, dot Visa. Understanding the operation on the Java, understanding the operation unit operator require only an operand. For example, plus increment the value of its operand by one. Binary operator require the two operand. For example, plus add the value of its two operand. Ternary operator on the three operand in the Java programming language has one ternary operator. Data types and operator data related concept, working with the primitive data types, declaring and initializing the primitive variables, working with the non-primitive data types. Arithmetic operator, arithmetic minus, percentage, the unary arithmetic operation, the sign unary operator, plus minus, the increment and decrement operator, plus and the minus, the multiplication and the division operator and the operator, all the primitive numeric types and the types. The result of dividing an integer by another integer will be an integer. The case of an integer types division by the zero will generate the arithmetic expression. The execution division by zero in case of float double types will generate the positive infinity, generate the negative infinity. The square root of negative number of the float double type will generate a nan, not a number value. Float nan, double nan, the modulo man, 3.8. The addition and subtraction operator, apart from the arithmetic addition and subtraction, is the result overflow. The truncation of the bits happen in the same way as the multiplication. The plus operator is overloaded in the Java language, and concentrated string data. Relational operator is also called the comparison operator. Compare the value of two operand and return to the boolean type three are the first data types operator. Logical operator used to combine more than one condition that may be true or false, deals with connecting with the boolean value operator at a bit level. Two kind of logical operator: bitwise logical operator, short circuit logical operator. Bitwise logical operator manipulate the bit of an integer. Bytes shorts are int long value. Bitwise logical operator byte x y z. Byte system dot out short circuit logical operation on the operator on the Boolean types. The outcome of this operator is a Boolean data types operator. Using the assignment operator used to set the value of a variable x is equal to 7. Shortcut assignment operator. Arithmetic proportion involves binary operation between the two operand of the different types of the types narrower than the size int. The compiler may convert the type of one operand to the type of another operand, or the type of the both operand to the entirely different types. Arithmetic formation is performed before any calculation is done. Arithmetic formation If one operand is of the double, then the other operand is converted into the double. If one of the operand is double and one of the operand is float, then the other operand is converted into the float type arithmetic formation rule. Data types in the operator, advanced operator. Shortcut a field statement used to declare the array, create array, SS, array element, parentheses, delimits the comma separated list of parameter used, for example, in the method declaration. Cast convert the value of a specific type, create a new object or the new array, determines the whether the first operand in the instance of the second operand. The shortcut if fields operator if a minus b advanced operator the class operator type explicitly convert the value of each specific type. The new operator instantiate a class to the create an array. The instance of the operator determines if the given object is the type of a specific class. OOP1 instance OOP2 data-wise operator equality of the two object and the two primitive. This kind of element can be compared to the test equality primitive variables. All the same value can be tested within the operator. Reference variable can be compared equals to operator. All the same value object tested with equals method of the object class. Code walk weeklet, code walk weeklet. Public static void main string array int count 1 2 3 4 5 count 399 system out dot print in. Java programming class method develop the code that declares the class interface and enums and include the appropriate use of the package and import and develop the code. Object and develop the code that declares the static and non-static method. Develop the code that declares user the variable length and agreement list. Develop the constructor for one or the more of the class. Given class declaration determines if the default constructor will be created. So if determine the behavior of the constructor. In the nested class listing, write a code instance in it, the class method. Using the method represent the operation on the Java and also hold the logic to determine this operation using the method. On defining a method is a self-contained block of the code that performs the specific operation on the data by using the same logic. Method declaration, name, parameter, agreement, return type, SS modifier. Defining a method, the syntax for writing the method in the Java modifier, return type, method name, parameter, the body of the method, the code statement goes here, public int square int number, return into number is equal to the static method and the variable. The static method and variable are shared by the all of the instance of the class. The static modifier may be applied to a variable and the method and a block of code inside the method. Because of the static element of the Java is visible to all the instance of the class. For if instance, static example around static example, the static method and the variables. The static variable is initialized when the class is loaded, when the whereas the instance variable is initialized when the instance of the class is created. The static method also belongs to the class. It can be called even before when the single instance of the class is exists. The static method can only access the static member of the class. The static code block a class can also have a static code block outside of any method. The code block does not belong to any method but only belongs to the class executed before the class is instantiated or even before the method main array is called the class static code example. Static code static counter system dot out dot print in static code block counter plus one static code public stat void main. Static code example static int counter static counter plus plus system dot out print in static code block counter static code example system dot out print in constructor counter public stat public class run static code example public static void main static code example sec new static code example method with the variables number of the parameter there must be the simply one main length parameter there must be the individual parameter in addition the parameter the variable length of parameter list consists of the type loaded Pratice Java input that IO my class public void print stuff a string greet int value int and value system that out print in greet plus class bar test public static void main my class mc print stuff hello hey you Java beans name for naming the standard or Java bean is the special kind of Java class that it defines by the certain rules of private variable property that can be only be accessed through the getter in the setter method. The getter in the setter method must be the public so that anyone who uses the bean can invoke them. A setter method must have the void return type and must have the parameter that represents the type of the corresponding property. The getter method does not have any parameter and its return type matches the argument type. Java beans naming the standard for the method public static score bean private double min score getter method for the property min score double public double get min score return min score setter method get min score classes working with the classes and the object. A class is the template that contains the data of the variable with the following variables class member variables represent the class object method constitutes the modifier class name specify the name of the class keyword modifier specify the characteristic of the class SS modifier private public protected default other modifier abstract final script as defining the classroom private string room number in total seat and public static in total number string get room number return byte set variable name the name of the object reference that will refers to the object class name the name of the existing class constructor the creating the object the room manager nested class to define other class nested class variables and the method nested class in instance of the inner class that only exists within the instance of the outer class nested public static void when my top level my empty created my top level my inner class top level private string top class inner classes understanding the enum useful when you wants to variables holding only the pretended set as a value define the enum variables into the two steps the enum type and the named value variables define the variables to hold on the value enum allotted the credit card visa mastercard american express allotted credit card visa allotted credit card system that outprint in the allotted credit card name value visa and method for the enum class subclass in the java enum final boolean equals object final string name string to string static enum value of the class enum class string name enum public class study system that are print color threshold enum tree color blue red green trace color the output of the color class method and interface using method working class inheritance writing and invoking the constructor enable the program to write the class based on already existing class the parent and the superclass the subclass inherit the inherit and the non-private member is the Java computer public static void main Public class test system that are print I and total seat in the classroom. Class CS lab to get the total seat. Class computer lab extend total computer lab string assignment and TBA. Wide print set info system that are print there are the get to seat plus and string plus get lab assistance void set lab assistance class method and interface working method writing and invoking the constructor. The constructor has the of the class has the same name of the class and has no explicit in return type and the new operator allocate the memory for the instance and execute the constructor to initialize the memory computer lab CS lab the new computer lab allocate the memory for an instance of the class computer lab initialize the instance variable of the class computer lab execute the constructor computer lab caution if we don't provide any constructor for a class you write the compiler provide the default constructor for the class you can also define for non-defined constructor with the parameter the constructor may be called from inside the class within then the constructor from using this the super from outside the class this and the super class this is also called the another constructor in the same class use the super to column constructor in the superclass must appear in the beginning of the constructor without the superclass in the beginning of the constructor body before executing the body of constructor in the class that is being instantiate a constructor in the superclass must be execute class test conduct constructor public static void main new subclass my superclass my sub bar my superclass print dot system dot out print in super bar plus super bar my superclass string my sub inherit my sub bar my subclass super class subclass system dot out example compiler in n time b class extend string name my name key pointer constructor of the class has the same name as the class and has no explicit return type. A class may have one or more ones constructor. If a program define no constructor in a constructor, no argument there are one or more constructor defined in the class. The compiler will not provide any constructor have any zero or more parameter from the outside of the class. Constructor is always called the new operator from the inside the class. It may be called from the outside constructor with this super operator. Unlike the other method, the constructor are not inherit. There is no super class method using writing and interface writing and Java support the single interface and the subclass Java can have only one superclass if the multiple inheritance is needed use an interface and interface is the template that contain the some method declaration no implementation the class that inherit from an interface must provide the implementation for the method declared for the interface interface declaration you define the interface by using the keyword interface. The method declared in the interface are implicitly public and abstract. The data variables declared in the interface inherently data type bar1, bar2, return type, method name, method 2, parameters, interface definition. More feature of class can be extended only one by using its more interface using the keyword implement and interface can also be extended one or more interface. Why the Java and interface cannot implement any interface? Interface parent one int phone byte print parent one interface parent two p2 byte print parent two interface child extend parent one parent two in child byte print child class inherit class implement public static void main importance point and interface all the interface variable are inherently public static and the final all the interface method are inherently public and abstract because the interface method are inherently abstract they cannot be declared final native scripted and synchronized synchronize interface extend class C1 extend C2 interface I1 extend I2 C1 implement I1 C1 implement I1 I2 C1 class extend C2 C3 interface I1 implement I2 interface I1 extend I2 interface I1 extend I2 I3 interface I1 extend C1 interface I1 extend C1 interface C1 extends C2 implement I1 C1 implement I1 extends C2. An interface can be extended in the multiple inheritance. So an interface cannot be extended the class. An interface cannot implement a class, and class can extend in another class. An extend must be before implement. When the interface can extend the interface, an interface cannot implement another interface. A class cannot extend the multiple class. A class cannot extend an interface. It has to implement. A class can implement in interface. The interface can extend another interface. A class can extend another class. हजुरलाई यति नै